But let's do some player transfers now, and let's see who's been moving where. Let's start off from Nordirland. Nordirland has become like a factory for moving players. So that's where we start off from. 20-year-old centre-back from Nima. If you are a native of Nima, you know him probably well. You'd have seen him grow up. Maxwell Woleji is the name. A product of the Right to Dream Academy. He has moved on from Nordirland in Denmark to Vitória Guimarães in the Portuguese First Division. So there he is. He's a centre-back. Can play with both feet, left foot, right foot. Doesn't really matter. But to just snap thoughts on Maxwell, for those people who don't know who this guy is, never seen him play, what kind of player is he and how much potential does he have?
I think he has a lot of potential. Obviously, the football factory, if you like, that is producing him has got the credibility of producing players who can think on their feet. Good. Beyond the natural ability. And in today's market, that's an asset. It adds a few hundreds of thousands to your value. And in the elite ranks, we're talking a few million euros or pounds here, that it adds to your value. And so you do expect that in the next few years, if it's apprenticeship, and that's what I expect this to be.
Yeah,
I don't expect him to play as if he's someone who had his education in Europe. I think the cultural differences will take time. The weather, the football culture there itself, the city that he's moving into, and he's 20.
Yeah.
So he needs to adapt first to the weather, to the food. He has
Abdul Mumin by his side.
Exactly.
That's the good part.
That's the good part. But he needs to figure out the sort of personality he is going to be for the next leg of his life.
Yeah.
Because
that's very important,
yes,
actually, as a footballer.
Today's game demands so much from the footballer than the game a few years ago. So in terms of his personality, in terms of what he wants to do on the football pitch, he has to figure it out. Because the reality is that football, in terms of coaches, has a very high turnover. So you are going to possibly, in the next 3 years, have to work with minimum 3 coaches. If your club has a habit of changing managers, that is a lot of ideas to take in, a lot of football concepts that you'll be introduced to at the age of 20. So you need to quickly figure out what you want to be before you become someone's experiment. And the thing about a young player
that's very true.
Exactly.
Because before you know, the guy who brought you in, who loved you and knew what you wanted to do, has maybe fired.
Exactly.
And they bring in a new guy and he doesn't know what to do with you.
And this is important because depending on how your development goes, a certain market will be in the lookout for you. For example, today we're always talking about how left-footed centre-backs have become unicorns.
Yep.
They command more because there are less of them in the system now. If you develop quickly as a left-footed centre-back, the potential that you have opportunities is high because there are not a lot of them anywhere in the world to start with. And so I'm just hoping that he figures himself out quickly and dedicates a lot more time to growing his game on an individual basis. This is independent of what the team and what the club wants to do, right? Because there could be instability. The manager that hired him could get fired. Yeah. The technical director that hired him could get fired. And so you need to quickly accelerate your own development, spend extra hours
Make yourself
in training.
More viable for the market overall.
Exactly. But I have no doubt in my mind that the environment that he's walking into is one that has become sort of a natural habitat for Ghanaian players. I mean, right from David Nia these days, we've come to know that, and a lot lot of them are defenders.
Yep. In fact, most of them are defenders.
A lot of them are defenders who walk in there, and they are either left-sided centre-backs or left-footed to play.
Gideon Mensah was there as well.
Gideon Mensah was there. David Adi was there.
Yeah.
Abdul Mumin and all of them. And so they are gaining a reputation of creating an enabling environment for our talents to thrive. We thank them for taking our young talents and then moving them to the next level. But it is important to me that he quickly figure out what he wants to be, quickly develop that talent. Because the thing about our players is that a lot of them are multi-talented. So your average Ghanaian defender can pass the ball. Maybe not a line breaker, maybe not start an attack, but they can make decent passes into midfield.
Try and specialize in a few other areas.
So there is that tendency for a team to say, a coach to say, because my defenders can move the ball around very well, if I'm going to play with a 3-back, he's the guy that I want to use. Or if I need someone to play in midfield, he's the guy that I want to use. And those ideas because they are voluminous and very frequent. They can confuse a player. So it's the one thing that I always think of when we're sending out some of these young players.
Let's move on from Maxwell Wileji. Osman Bukhari has moved as well, but we've spoken about Osman extensively on the show. He's moved to Red Star Belgrade, and the word is that he scored twice already. Yeah, that's him in your shot there. Osman Bukhari joining Red Star Belgrade. He's been on target twice already in 4 matches? 4 or 5 matches, already getting his feet wet out there. Let's move it on. Let's talk about somebody who has become a little forgotten. Kasim Nuhu Adams. Kasim Nuhu Adams. He's made the move from Hoffenheim to FC Basel. Now, if you remember Kasim Nuhu Adams, he made his name playing in the Swiss League, playing for young boys, actually. He's literally been warming the Hoffenheim bench for how long, only God knows. He's decided that he can't do that anymore. And so he's moved it on back to a comfort zone for him, a place where he was actually one of the biggest players in the league at the time. Yeah. Actually, I don't know if you don't commit this move. Is this a good move for Kasim?
Oh, I do. I do. Every day of the weekend, twice on Sundays. Look, there was a time, I remember when he made his Black Stars debut.
Yeah.
Was it the AFCON in 2019? Yeah, he made his debut.
He looked like he was going to be our most important defender.
There was a report of Bayern keeping tabs on him. Bayern Munich.
Yeah. No, Kasim was huge. He can come out of the ball with defense. Exactly. He can head.
I don't know what went wrong, but I think at a point he suffered a confidence crisis because the last games in the Black Stars completely looked different, and you could tell there was something off about him.
Yeah.
And so my reading of that quickly informed me not to assess him based on what he was doing on the pitch, but whatever the issues were that were producing the new Kasim Nuhu that we're seeing. And so I'm glad that he's ended that rotten run. He's moved away from that decay.
Yeah.
There's a good chance for him to restart. And look, not everyone is going to make it out there in the big leagues. Sometimes, and the Swiss League is a respectable one.
Yeah, very.
Sometimes all a player needs is that credibility.
A stable environment.
In a stable environment, just to grow and then keep growing in that space. However small others may perceive it to be. Because look, at the end of the day, there will always be a market for players, irrespective of their skill set.
And he's pretty tall defender, 6'4", very mobile, can pass.
And look, for me, there's too much talent in him for him to be wasting on the bench anywhere in the world. So I'm glad that he's made this move.
Yeah.
His ilk are unique, even in today's modern game. Just as he said, he's someone who can pick a pass out. His anticipation is great.
Yeah.
His defensive skills are excellent. Yeah. And he's a natural
defender.
Just
needs to focus.
He's a natural defender.
Let's move it and talk. I want to talk about 2 more people, but we need to box it into small time. Benjamin Tete to Hull City.
Made for the English game.
Made for the English game.
He has the size.
Big belly guy.
He has the size. He has the awareness. And he has the mindset for it as well. He only needs to... I didn't like what I saw at the AFCON. I hope there's no more of that in Benjamin Tete.
You mean the punch-out?
That incident, yes. So I think...
I think that was an anomaly. He's typically a very calm guy.
So we need to see more of him, the footballer, and irrespective
and not him, the boxer.
Exactly. And irrespective of what we say about players who can bring teammates into play and all of that, he needs to be also respected to be someone who can score goals.
True. It's your first bit of respect as a striker. You need to earn it.
And that's the currency you trade with.
Last. Talk to me about Mudasiru Salifu to Sheriff Tiraspol.
The Ghana football streets will never forget it. He's one talent that I always loved. He's one talent that I always said we needed to see him move on to pastures anew because there was too much talent in there and too little education going on here. So we basically were stifling him. Look, he can pick the ball and run with it.
He's supposed to be a DM.
But he can progress play on his own.
His dribbling is fantastic.
It's fantastic. And already the clips that we've seen of him playing for Tiraspol are remarkable.
Yeah.
I just want him to flourish. I think that in the last 12 months, the key to he getting here is that he's cut out some of the dribbles. Yeah. He releases the ball a bit more often.
Decision making is more on points now.
It's more on points now. But the talent has never been in doubt. And I'm glad that he's made a move. I hope it works out. It's a loan deal with the option of a renewal. I hope it works out at the point where even if they don't want to take him, another team out there, because he doesn't need to come back. Yeah. And I think no one can question the quality that he's got. Look, he's got the skill sets to play even in the top European leagues.
He does.
The only difference is the culture that he's not been exposed to. If the assimilation goes right, I have no doubt that Mudasiru will make all of us proud.
Actually, thank you very much. I remember when I saw Mudasiru, was that game against Accra Hearts of Oak. He played about 17 or so minutes, and the impression he left on me is still the impression I have of him. So I wish him all the best out there.